The next thing we're going to take a look at with rate of change is word problems. Everybody's favorite. I'm sure you're all excited to be looking at word problems. It's very important to know how to do word problems in math because that's the application of math. I get the question a lot, when are we ever going to use this? Well, word problems is when math is actually used in real life outside of the classroom. So that's really the essential part of what I'm going to be teaching you this year. All right, so our first example, Jessica weighs 87 pounds and wants to gain weight. After 5 weeks, she weighs 97 pounds. What is her average rate of change? All right, so first of all, we need to figure out what the y and the x are so that we can figure out change in y over change in x. That's how we get our rate of change. Another way to do this is to ask yourself, what are the two things that are changing? Well, the first thing that changes is her weight. The second thing that changes is the time. So in order to figure out y and x, does it make sense to talk about time per weight or weight per time? So think about that for a second and figure out which one you think the y is and which one you think the x is. Well, what makes sense is weight per week, how much she's gaining per week. It doesn't make sense to talk about how long it takes her to gain a pound. So our y is weight, and our x is weeks. Okay, so then we set up our ratio, like before, change in y. So what is the change in her weight? Well, she went from 87 pounds to 97 pounds. So the change was an increase of 10 pounds. The change in x was after 5 weeks. So that was our change in x. So simplifying that, we get 2, and we always label our answer weight per week, and the weight is in pounds, so I'm going to say pounds per week. She gained, on average, 2 pounds per week. That doesn't mean she gained exactly 2 pounds a week. She might have gained 3 pounds one week and 1 pound the next week, but on average, over the course of the 5 weeks, she gained 2 pounds per week. One more example. This one, Andrew's got 6 gallons of milk. He's making milkshakes. After 2 hours, he has 2 gallons left. What was his average rate of change? So again, we have to figure out which variable is y and which variable is x. So think about what are the two values that are changing. Well, he had 6 gallons, and now he's down to 2 gallons. So that was changing. And the other thing that's changing is the time. All right, so does it make sense to talk about how long it took him to use a gallon or how many gallons per hour? So which one's y, which one's x? Well, when we label our answer, we're probably going to be labeling gallons per hour, not hours per gallon. So we find the ratio, so the change in our y, the change in gallons. He started with 6 and went down to 2, so that is a negative 4 gallons. And then y, the time was increasing, 2 hours. So we get a rate of negative 2. Then we have to label our answer. So again, we talked about gallons per hour. And your 2 U-try problems.